Yeah. Grab your tea, take a seat. Let's talk truth and healing. No need to retreat. From heartbreak to triumph, from pain to praise. With Bunky at the table, we're lighting the way. She's walked the road, felt the rain. Still found sunshine through the pain. With every story, a soul set free. This is Tea Time with Bunky, your safe space to be. It's real talk, it's love, it's truth you'll find. With Bunky by your side, you can speak your mind. From the heart of the struggle to the power of grace.
Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. This is Richard. Hi, Dan. All right.
Welcome to Tea Time with
Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. This is super recent. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. I missed you guys. I really did. Hey, everybody that is tuning in and that will be tuning in later. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. I wasn't here last week. You know, life is life. But thank you for those that are coming on, those that will be catching this at a later time. Tea Time with Bunky is more than just a show. It's a safe and welcoming space where everyone can share their stories and life journeys, from survivors and advocates to community leaders and everyday voices. No story is too big. No story is too small. Each episode dives deep into topics that matter, from social issues to politics, self-healing, and transformation. Come and be a part of a community that believes in the power and of sharing and caring together. So welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. That's what Tea Time with Bunky is all about. You can catch me every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Might not be every Thursday, but mostly every Thursday night at 7 p.m. streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So that's about me. I would like to wish a very happy birthday to my co-host in crime, who co-hosts when I do Political Tuesdays on Tuesdays, Political Tuesday, Tea Time with Bunky, Mr. DJ Rec Boy Shad himself of In the Studio with the Rec Boys, DJ Shad. Happy birthday to you. You mean the world to me. I appreciate you more than you know. So happy birthday to you. Go turn it up, have fun, but be safe. Speaking of In the Studio with the Rec Boys, as you can see, God's work, catch rec, which side right there, rec, which means reaching everything conceivable. This is the special Bunky Purple edition. This is the Bunky edition. The t-shirts are $25, right? But you can go catch them. I'm going to do the commercial thing in a minute, but you can go get the special purple because purple isn't available all the time. It's a special one for me and the people that love me. You can go to In the Studio with the Rec Boys and get your shirt for $25. Put the promo code in, use promo code Bunky and get $5 off of the shirt. And this is just one of them, God's work. Let me show this little commercial and it shows a little bit more shirts. So that is the shirts. Run over to In the Studio with the Rec Boys and get your shirt and tell them Bunky sent you. So that's the advertisement for the shirt collaboration with In the Studio with Direct Boys. Tea Time with Bunky in the Studio with Direct Boys. My glasses are fogging up, y'all. It's getting kind of hot in here. Okay. A lot of stuff going on in the world. But before we get into some of that, because I'm not really even getting into it, but a little bit, we know elections are coming up November 4th. 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. is a time that the boards are open. Get out there, y'all, and vote, vote, vote. I keep saying vote like your life depends on it. Hey, Lisa, vote like your lives depend on it because it really, really does. And I was happy to see as I was driving around, um, Miss Yoranda Nikki, as people know her, Sanabria, is running for the Woodridge Trustee Board. Yes, Nikki. Congratulations to her. So those that live in the Woodridge township, the town of Woodridge, make sure you get out there and cast your vote for her. It's a young, fresh voice, young woman of color that is running for a seat that I don't think anybody of color has ever been on. She's young, fresh ideas. She's lived, or her family has lived in Woodridge forever, so they know what it's all about. Um, she knows what the town needs. Get out there, look her up, reach out to her, because I can't tell you who to vote for, but I'm hinting. Go out there, talk to her, see where she stands, see what her platform is all about. Because this mess that we live in today, America, is a hot mess right now. And I don't even want to get into all the craziness that's going on. Everybody has their own opinion, and that's just what it is. Everybody's opinion. And Tea Time with Bunky is a show that reflects my opinion. This is all my opinion, what I talk about. But today isn't about that. Today is a special day. It's 9/11. 9/11. And I wanted to know, if you remember where you were when this happened. It's not going to be just a stories about loss. They're about love. It's about sacrifices and the human spirit. That's what America was about, y'all. So today I invite you to remember, not just where you were, but who we became as a nation, united in grief, but also in compassion, in resilience, and in hope. And it feels like we're kind of losing that now. Um, Everything that we went through in 9/11. So I'm gonna do this quick memoriam that I just put together. I want to grab a couple of people before I get more into it. A couple of people on the slide. Um, and you can see people that some of the heroes. Some are still with us today, and some are no longer. So here's the video. And welcome back. Yeah, that was just a couple of people. The first young lady that I had on there, um, everyone remembers her face, Miss Marcy Borders, um, known as the Dust Lady, because she was at the ground. That was the dust from the towers that hit her, and she was like an image that was spread all over, all over. So many people remember that image. And when I was looking up, heroes of that day, um, I had to actually put in the word Black heroes of 9/11 because they didn't pop up. Um, Not that everybody doesn't matter, they do, but they just didn't pop up. So I felt that it was very important to put them up there as a part of representation, since our history is trying to be taken away from us. But that's not what the show is about. Um, the date was September 11th, 2001. Okay. Um, the first plane hit at 8:46 a.m. It was American Airlines Flight 11, which hit the North Tower at the World Trade Center in New York City. And myself, I remember hearing about it. And at first, when it first happened, people didn't think it was real because, like, thought it was an accident. Nobody really thought that somebody would purposely fly a plane into the building, right? It's like this had to have been an accident. But then at 9:03, when you can see, if you go back and you look at the videos or whatever, you can see the plane, the second plane, you can see it angle itself to hit the building. It was a United Airlines flight 175 when it struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center. That's when we knew America was under attack. That's when we knew that um, this was an attack on American soil. Then at 9:37, American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. And then at 10:03, United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into the Shanksville, Pennsylvania, in the field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after the passengers and everybody fought off the hijackers. So it could have been worse if it probably it would have been worse if those heroes didn't go after these terrorists. I'm trying to get all the facts and stuff out before we have a conversation. Um, the terrorists were 19 Al Qaeda. They were 19 Al Qaeda. They came to America and learned how to fly the planes because America was trusting at the time. I guess they didn't think that somebody would come in and plan this thing and attack us in our own homeland, but they did. That was in 2001, September 11th, 2001. And then on May 2nd, 2011, under and authorized by my president, Barack Obama, the U.S. Navy SEALs in what was called Operation Neptune Spear captured the man who they feel was behind all of this, Osama bin Laden. And they took him out and then they disposed of him at sea so that people couldn't, unearth him and make him a martyr and like praise him and all that stuff. So that was under the authority of President Barack Obama. So shout out to President Obama for doing that. Where were we? Where were we? Where was I when this happened? Um, I remember I was at work. My kids were young. I think the two oldest were in middle school at the time. They were in middle school, and my youngest, I believe, he was in elementary school. I was working, and when we found out that it was an attack, I remember leaving my job, running. I gotta go. I gotta go, and I ran to elementary school. I think it was elementary school first, to grab my son because I wanted my kids with me, right? Because this is an attack. Grabbed him, and then I went to the middle school, high school, but they were they had the kids in the gym at the time, or the auditorium, to protect them because this was going out. And I'm remembering the feelings, my anxiety at that moment. I didn't want anything to happen to my babies, and parents were blazing all around the school. Everybody was trying to get their kids, and it was starting to become chaotic. And the school did a really good job at reassuring us that everything was going to be okay. They got everything under control. And I think we watched that thing over and over and over and over again, over and over and over again. Um, Here it says that there were 29, over 29, almost 30,000 victims that died. No, 2,977 victims died in attacks, not including the hijackers, the night day, because they don't count. This included 2,606 at the World Trade Center. These are people that died at the location. 125 at the Pentagon, a total of 246 on all four planes, which were used as weapons. 441 first respondents lost their lives in New York City. The health aftermath, because they didn't realize at the time that because of all the asbestos and everything in the buildings, that it was going to cause cancer and everything. Hence the dust lady that was in the video, who passed away of cancer. 100,000 people have developed cancer linked to toxic dust exposure at ground zero. In that video that I had posted, there was a gentleman, was Daryl Warner, helped identify. He helped identify people after the fact, right? He took his shovel. Was he the one with the shovel? He took his shovel after everything happened. He just went with the shovel and dug, dug, and dug, and dug. And he found four police officers, well, four first responders. I think they said it was like 20 feet he dug with a shovel. And then after he found them, of course, they were no longer with us. They had expired. After he found them, I don't know what happened, but then he disappeared in all the rubble and wasn't found for 4 years. So a first responder that went out to help, lost his life. It was just so much unity at that time. Everybody, we came together as a country, and it's because of that where a lot more stringent rules came into place to protect us. That's when they started downsizing the amount of things you can bring on a plane, because there was the shoe bomber, like all of these crazy little things that shook America. But 9/11, I believe, is one that will vividly stay in the minds of everyone around. Hey, Chris, thank you for tuning in. Do you remember where you were when 9/11 hit? Uh, Thank you. I did a whole promo, Mr. Cataract from Otis in the studio with the Rec Boys. I told them this is the special Tea Time with Bunky Purple, and I showed them the Rec. So representing. I appreciate you guys. But do you remember where you were? You were still in New York, right? Lisa, if you're still on, I forgot to ask you, where were you when 9/11 happened? 9/11 is one of the most, and the facts, one of the events that is like burned into American history, like the JFK assassination for those that were alive, and Pearl Harbor when those were alive, and for African Americans, the assassination of Martin Luther King for those that were alive. Like, you can ask them, where were they, what was going on with you, and boom, they're put right back in the same space where it happened. Yeah. And like I was saying before that, like Americans, we can all remember that moment. Chris said, I was running around, and Tyrone and I drove straight to Brooklyn to check on our families. I remember the smoke all the way to Brooklyn. Were you able to get over the bridge? Because I was talking to someone, and I remember a week before that, I was doing very last minute school shopping. And a week before that, I was in that area. So if it had been a week later, there probably would be no Tea Time with Bunky. Um, that was bugged out. I had forgot about that. until I was talking to someone, and I was like, wow, I was there, I was like right there, because the trade center is that's a staple of New York. Well, it was a staple of New York. But yeah, I was just wait a minute. Um, yeah, we got in, but we had to hit some back streets to get there. It Wow, it took you 6 hours to get there from here. Well, I'm surprised you even got in, and I'm glad you got in and got out, and there were no effects. Hopefully, from the smoke, well, the dust and all of that. Nah, you're good. You're fine. Lisa, I was living in Philadelphia. I was home making a DJ mix. I got a call asking if I was going to work at 11:30. I said yes and was told to turn on the TV. I then called out. I was afraid to leave my house. Wow. Everybody was afraid. Everybody was afraid. Um because we didn't know what was going on. One of my uncles, I think he was on his way. Was he on his way to New York City, or he was running late? But you hear a lot of stories like that too. People that were going into New York City, or for some reason they were running late, or I heard a story of someone that was supposed to have been working at the Trade Center, but something happened and they switched shifts with someone on that day. So it's like there was a lot of, I don't want to say this and sound wrong, but there was a lot of intervention to protect people, um from going on that dreadful day. Like, I still don't know why people do that. I worked in the federal prison at the time, downtown Philadelphia. So is that close? My demographics are horrible. So is that close to the World Trade Center? My aunt worked across the street. The story she told us is crazy. My sister, one of my sisters, was going to King University, right? And when the planes hit, she said that they saw things like flying out the window, right? At the Trade Center. And later come to find out that that was people jumping out, trying to escape, or when the planes hit, it was people going out of the window. So I can't imagine seeing that and have that etched in my mind forever. No, a federal building. Okay. So what was it? It's a federal building. Was it? But could you see New York from there? I don't know my demographics, so just don't judge me. I don't know. Um, Philly, New York, Philly, New York, New Jersey. Yeah, I don't go nowhere, y'all. It's really bad. It's really bad. So I can't I can't help y'all. Um, there was a quote. There was a quote. I got some different things. I'm like all over the place because I was just trying to wait for people to join and like share their stories and different things of like what happened, where were they, and how it's impacted them. But here's some memorable quotes of reflection. Um, and this is funny because he is going with the wind right now. But at the time, a sane Rudy Giuliani said the attacks of September 11th were intended to break our spirit. Instead, we have emerged stronger. This was intact Rudy Giuliani at the time when he was running New York, and he was doing an amazing job before he lost his mind. That was his quote. And he was right. It was meant to break us, but it didn't. It made us strong. No, the fact it was a federal. Oh, didn't know if the target, right? Because the planes were going into the federal buildings, right? Absolutely. So yeah, that was the smart thing. Wait, it's popping up. Hey, Gabe, do you know where you were when during 9/11 when the planes hit the towers? Share your story. Um, hey, Rashida, do you know where you were when the planes hit? Oh, I saw you ask for on a whole nother note. I saw you asked in the studio yesterday for a peach version. This right here is the one of the purple versions of it. Um yeah. Peach would be hot. It really, really would. But another quote Another quote was from my president, y'all, President Barack Obama, that said, even the smallest act of service, the simplest act of kindness is a way to honor those we lost. And he's so wise. And it is. And we see all that going backwards right now, but we're not going to talk about that because that's not what this is about. So, right, even the smallest act of service, the simplest act of kindness is a way to honor those that we lost. Uh, yes, by the time. Oh, you had moved to North Carolina, so you weren't in the area, but still, the Pentagon and all that stuff. But what was going through your mind? I know a lot was going on in your mind when that happened. I am almost positive. These things popping up. Everything is popping up. You like it, right? It's nice. The purple is nice. And also George W. Bush, another memorable quote for reflection, said, "Time is passing, yet for the United States of America, there will be no forgetting September the 11th." So that's true. We'll never forget that. People in the trade center. So you actually lost people. I think you're the first person that I've spoken to that had that close of a connection. My condolences if that's what happened. Um, Gabe, I was home, worked 3 to 11 shift back then, so I was just waking up around 8 and 9 and was watching Sports Center when a friend of mine called me to ask, "Do you see what's going on, bro?" Nah, I'm not, but the Giants aren't looking good, man. He's like, "Man, change the channel." I did and clicked on just to see the second plane hit. It was crazy, right? Watching how it actually maneuvered and positioned itself so that it would hit. That's when it became real to everybody that we were under attack. Because you can chalk up the first one as maybe something was going on with the pilot and everything, and it was an accident. That's what you could have thought at that time. But then when that second plane hit, and then everybody was glued to the television, I had people traumatized by that. That was devastating, unbelievable, and dark. Yes, it. That's an understatement, and I'm sorry for them. I'm sure that stays in their mind, and I know they were relieved. I mean, even though it doesn't bring people back, but I know they were relieved when when he was captured, when Bin Laden was captured and it was confirmed. And apparently that whole thing, the whole Operation Neptune Spear lasted 40 minutes. So by the time they put everything in motion, it took 40 minutes to get him. It seemed like a movie. It didn't seem real. Even if you look at it now, when things coming up, it doesn't seem real. Especially because it happened here. But I don't know, you guys. Like, do you think that Hi Melissa, where were you during 9/11? What happened? Do you remember 2001 9/11? Um I was wondering, do you think we're in a position now where that can happen again? Because of security and everything that's going on and people coming in and um what do y'all think? Do you think that we are at risk for something like this happening again? At one point, they put all the safeties in place, but it seems like it's all becoming undone. I have my opinions on Bin Laden and all that, but I'm a I know you got something to say. I know you do. I was It was my second day starting at New Hope. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Cause then you're in, oh man. I don't even know how to. So working in that field, right? So you can't just run. I was able to leave work at the time because the position I was in. I was able to leave work and go check on and try to grab my sons, but you couldn't do that. So what was that like? Like, how did you guys, without getting into it, like, was this just yes or no? Was there any certain things put into place? Like, was the agency on lockdown? Like, what did that look like? That's crazy. I didn't think about different agencies and different hospitals, and I didn't think about like what that looked like for them because they couldn't go anywhere. They had to sit there and protect their people. Hmm. But yeah, think about that. Like, tell me without telling me. But what do you guys think? Do you think that we're in a position for this to happen again? And another question, how do you think the family members um of those that have lost someone, be it directly or after the fact due to the causes of the asbestos and all that, the that got sick and passed away from the dust, um how do you think their families could possibly be feeling right now with all the shenanigans going on in the world and the lack of protection, because it's pretty ruthless out there right now? Or do we have to worry more about people inside the gate versus people coming in, if that makes any sense? I think it makes sense, but sometimes I don't make sense. What do you think? Very scary. Many phone calls made. I'm sure. I know I would have been on the phone. I know I would have been on the phone. Um, about that question that I just asked. I personally think that we have to worry about the in ground, in homegrown people. I don't know how safe we are. I don't. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Um, I don't think we're that safe. Uh, but we just pray that God keeps us protected from the evil going on in this world. Um, and this doesn't happen again. Now, about some of the people. One of my brothers, a police officer, went down there to volunteer at the site right after it happened, with so many others to help. How I know that brother. Know of that brother. How's he doing? Like, since he went down there, like when it first happened, like did he have to go down there in PPE equipment? Were there any after effects from the dust? Like long term lasting effects? Um, I don't think I don't know. I guess that's what officers and all them do. They run out there and they jump right in the middle of everything. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that because we need people like that. But it's just scary. But we were unified then. At that time we were unified. Everybody, we came together as a country. We had a common goal to find out who did this. And Sheeta, like you, there's more to it. There's more to it. Yes, terrible. Many people needed therapy with what they saw. Absolutely. I wonder if my sister ever got therapy. I gotta ask her. Because I mean, if you're seeing people flying out the window, that's pretty traumatizing. Um, I I don't know. I don't know, you guys. One of the people in my video that I had played earlier, they call him the man with the red bandana. Um, Willis Crowther. He was 24 years old. Um, he was working on the 104th floor of the South Tower. He was a volunteer firefighter since he was 16 years old and dreamed of joining FDNY. After the plane hit, he's one of the heroes that was on the slide. After the plane hit, he guided survivors, some severely injured, down stairwells to safety, making multiple trips back up to help more people. He was last seen with FDNY members before the tower collapsed. He was found in a makeshift command post in the lobby. So this young man who was 24 at the time, who always wanted to be a firefighter, probably could have saved his own life. Sounds like he could have gotten out and kept going, but that was the unity and the coming together that America had, that New Yorkers had when this happened, where he was selfless. He was selfless. He saved as many as 18 lives, um, and lost his own. So we honor him today. 24 years old, Willie Crowther, the man with the red bandana. And then there was the only female NYPD officer. There was only one female that lost her life. She was a 13-year veteran of the NYPD, signed to the 13th precinct. So I'm guessing that was close to the area. I'm guessing the 13th precinct or whatever was close to the area. Like I said, my demographics are horrible. I don't know anything about New York City. I live in New York, but I'm not from the concrete jungle. I don't know anything about that. She was the first officer to report the attack after witnessing the first plane. So this officer is down there on her post, and she probably looks up and sees the plane hit. That's crazy. Um, she was photographed helping um, a badly injured man to safety, then went back into the towers to rescue more people. She perished in the collapse, and she was found a year later. A year and 6 months later, they found her. See, I don't be wanting to talk about this man, but everything I do seems to go back to him. This dude is trying to take over, from what I heard, the 9/11 memorial. Yeah. This dude, and I say this dude, y'all know who I'm talking about. This dude, because I don't rock with him. Yeah, he's trying to take over that. How do y'all feel about that? Yeah. And it's a memorial. It's not a bashing show, so I'm not even going to talk about him. Then we have William Rodriguez. They called him the key master of the North Tower. He was a janitor at the World Trade Center for 20 years, and he held the master key to the North Tower stairwell. He is still alive today. He is still alive today. On 9/11, he was in the basement when he felt a massive explosion below before the plane hit. He helped a burned coworker escape and began unlocking doors for firefighters. Okay. So he was dubbed as the last man out of the North Tower. So those are three of the people that I had found when I looked up, the heroes of 9/11, like people in 9/11. But like I said, I had to dig a little deeper and actually put in people of color, heroes of color, 9/11. And that's when I found Rodney Gillis, who was an NYPD sergeant. He's in the video that I showed earlier. His life was taken in the World Trade Center while he was saving people, bringing people out to safety. So he was a sergeant. And then you had the multiple Black firefighters. Jason Thomas, who was a U.S. Marine. He was 32 at the time. He's the one. Yeah, Jason was the one that the Marine that was saving people with the shovel. And yeah. But he helped to find 4 officers. And then we had Leroy Homer Jr. He was the pilot of Flight 93. So the one from Newark to San Francisco, where 4 Al-Qaeda terrorists tried to hijack the plane. They tried to hijack the plane, and the people on the plane fought the hijackers. And because of that, the plane landed in a field. That's the one I think in a field in PA. It was a black pilot. He's also on the slide. Um, yeah, so there were so many hundreds and thousands, hundreds and hundreds of people that were heroes, but I couldn't find them all. It was just too much. But today we honor them. I just wanted to do this little tribute because 9/11 fell on a Thursday, so I had to do something um, for them and the families of those that lost their lives on that day. Um, and there were 77, it was considered, there were 77, where was it? 77 different countries involved, victims. That means they were on the planes or whatever, like that. So that made it a global tragedy. So um, it affected people all around the world, not just America. And that's when I think people realized that America wasn't as strong as we seemed. People found our weak spot and came in. But hopefully that will never happen again. We can pray that it never happens again for all those who have lost people, lost family members, loved ones, friends in 9/11 and after as a result. Um, our condolences, prayers. Um, we pray for your continued strength. For those that witnessed and were there when things happened, if you haven't talked about it, hopefully you have, or your family members or whatever, go out, talk to someone because that should not be stored in your mind. Um, May we as a nation continue to learn from this and not let it happen again. Um, yeah. So thank a soldier, thank the first responders. Um, Thanks to all those who just cared enough to go back in the building. Um, we honor you today and we honor you always. Um, we will remember 9/11. So with that, I'm getting ready to end this show. Thank you for those who participated and joined in. Um, yeah, this is something in history that will burn and live with us forever. For those of us that were around when it happened, um, continue to tell the stories, so that the ones coming up behind us will never forget. This is one of those things that we can never forget. And our country is still very vulnerable, more vulnerable now than ever before. Get out there, people, and vote in November uh, because it's crazy out there in these streets. Those that like the purple, look in the studio with the Rec Boys. Um, God's work. Catch Rec. This is the purple edition. This is the purple Tea Time with Bunky edition. Go over in the studio with the Rec Boys if you want one. And there's different other sayings and things too, but this is just my wording. Go over there. The t-shirts are $25. Use the promo code Bunky. That's BUNKY for the listeners. And you can get $5 off. Shirts $25. You use Bunky, you will get $5 off. Any dollars is a deal. So it's one for 25 and I think two for 40. Use the promo code Bunky, get your t-shirt and represent. Get the purple, and then you're walking around and people know that you're representing Tea Time with Bunky. So I appreciate you all so very, very much. Once again, happy birthday, Shad. I appreciate you so, so much. That's DJ Rec Boy Shad. Go over to his page on Facebook and wish him a happy, happy birthday. Um, that's my other half when I do Political Tuesday with Tea Time with Bunky. He's the he draws me in because I really go, I'm one-sided in this political thing, and he'll be like, nope, Bunk, you gotta have two sides. So he's my other side. So, but he's also major. He's a part of in the studio with Direct Boys. I just borrow him. I just borrow him when I need him. So I appreciate you all so very, very much. I'm tired. I had a long day. I will talk to you all. See you next week. I appreciate you. Tea Time with Bunky Thursdays, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can also catch me on your favorite podcast platforms. Just type in Tea Time with Bunky, and there you go. So happy listening, happy viewing. Share this. Go back to my YouTube page at Tea Time with Bunky. Catch some of the old shows. Get caught up, and you can see what Tea Time with Bunky is all about. I appreciate you. See you next week.